Hi guys, Al DeMarco here, General Manager of the world's largest online sports handicapping website in the world, and that of course is VegasSportsAdvisors.com with your Saturday video report, 39 and 26 with the complimentary plays I've given you here on the video report the past 26 days, hitting 5 out of 6 in the NFL the past 2 Sundays and cashing in with 2 out of 3 last night, scoring with Denver in college hoops and the Pistons easily in the NBA. 3 selections for you on today's card. If you haven't yet checked out the weekly Countdown to Kickoff program, which is here on Roku, which I did solo this week, or the video report over at VegasSportsAdvisors.com. I suggest you do so because there I go into depth to all of your NFL playoff games this weekend and break them down for you. Quickly, I will repeat a couple of them and give you selections in your 2 games today. First of all, Pittsburgh is -3 at home against, of course, Baltimore. Interesting series this season because the home team won each game by 20 points. Now, coming into this season, the previous 5 meetings, every single one of these between these rivals have been decided by a field goal or less. What has changed and what I can add to you today's report from the one I did earlier in the week is the weather. It's going to be awful weather today in Pittsburgh. It's going to rain almost all day long. It's going to be raining at game time. You know Heinz Field is one of the worst playing surfaces in the NFL to begin with. And at this time of the season, after high school playoff games, after bowl games, well, Heinz Field is just going to be torn up. Le'Veon Bell. It was announced yesterday that he will definitely miss this game. Now, the one thing I will say, if Le'Veon Bell was playing, I would be all over Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh, of course, would probably be laying 4.5 points in this game instead. But I will point out that Le'Veon Bell in the first go-round, or the second go-round, the rematch at home against the Ravens, really wasn't much of a factor because LeGarrette Blount was getting most of the carries that particular night. I think Bell only had 8 or 10 carries and didn't really get much yardage. But with him out, with Blount, of course, long since cut, they're going to be going with a rookie, Josh Harris. He of the 9 carries for a career 16 yards as their primary back here today. Yeah, they went out and signed ex-Brown, ex-Texan Ben Tate this week, but you know, how much can you count on him? But ultimately, this game is going to turn on the performance of Ben Roethlisberger, who in the most recent meeting in Pittsburgh was simply incredible. 340 yards, 6 touchdown passes, played pitch and catch with Antonio Brown throughout with 11 receptions and 144 yards in that contest. And the Steelers' defensive line really put the pressure as Dick LeBeau came hard with his troops against Joe Flacco all day. And with Baltimore's offensive line in disarray, having lost their starting left tackle to an injury last week, I think that's going to make them even more susceptible to the Steelers' pass rush. So, although road dogs, I should point out also, a lot of guys will say road dogs are the way to go in the wild card round, but I beg to differ because the road dogs are actually one game under 500 versus the point spread going back to 1978. So again, I would go with Pittsburgh in this particular contest. You know, the Steelers are 3-0 lifetime straight up at home against Baltimore in the postseason. The Steelers, of course, 6-1 this season straight up and against the spread against teams with winning records. Meanwhile, the Ravens, the exact opposite, 1-6 against teams straight up and against the spread that had winning records, 500 or better. Also in division road games, they're 1-6 their last 7 versus the odds makers, and they're 1-4 ATS in the last 5 in the series. It will be a close game. I don't expect a blowout, but in this particular case, I would take Pittsburgh by down the half point if you get them at 3 or 3.5 in this particular contest. Now, the Carolina-Arizona game, another game where weather is definitely going to play a role. 70% chance of rain throughout the day in Charlotte. Listen, you look at this Arizona team, and I can see why a lot of people are thinking about backing the Cardinals in this game. But these are not the same Cardinals you saw earlier in the season. This is a Cardinals team that has Ryan Lindley going at quarterback. This is a guy who, with Ryan Lindley, he is 1-5 straight up as a starter in his brief NFL career, and his passer rating for his career is 50.3. By comparison, I think Seattle's Russell Wilson, the final 6 games of the season, his passer rating was like 108. Okay, and the defense has not played that well either here for Arizona lately, as the Cardinals lost 4 of their final 6 games and gave up an average of 409 yards in them. Now, Carolina is certainly on a roll, and generally I like to take 2 type of teams in the postseason. I will rather take the team who started off fast, had a little dip during the middle of the season, and then finished strong, Or I'll take a team that finished very strong on the upswing, and that certainly is Carolina. Winners of 4 in a row in which their defense allowed only 43 points. Now, granted, playing devil's advocate, those 4 teams they beat are all watching today's games at home because none of them made the playoffs, right? New Orleans, Tampa, Cleveland, and Atlanta. But I think it's interesting how they played at Atlanta last week. Falcons were without their top running back, Steven Jackson. So they just overplayed the pass. They harassed Matt Ryan constantly, came up with 6 sacks, a couple of turnovers. Why wouldn't they do that again at home against a more inexperienced quarterback in Ryan Lindley? Because again, Arizona only averages like 88 yards a game on the ground, and they lost Andre Ellington, their top ball carrier, who was getting 25 to 30 touches a game because he was also a very good receiver many, many weeks ago. So again, this is not the same Arizona team. But I think the weather could be the equalizer here. I think also perhaps the way to look at this game is to go ahead and just simply play the under, which is sitting at 37.5 points. I think another possible consideration would be Carolina and a teaser. 2 teams, 6-point teaser. You could take Carolina down to virtual pick'em game. It's home in this particular spot. My problem is telling you who to team them with because it makes no sense to use a 2-team teaser with Pittsburgh as the other side. It makes no sense taking a 3-point home favorite down to a 3-point underdog. It's not a smart move as far as I'm concerned. Mathematically, it doesn't add up. If you're going to bet the Steelers, bet them straight up. Don't put them in a teaser. However, if you happen to think the Ravens are the play today, well, that could be your possible teaser companion with Carolina at pick 'em at home. You would take Baltimore +6 in that game at Pittsburgh. But again, I would go with the Steelers, and then I would also go with the under in the Carolina contest. College basketball play coming up here in just a moment, but I just want to remind you, you can get my best bets today and the best bets of every single handicapper at the site, and there's a lot of guys that are red hot guys. Gabriel DuPont going for his 9th consecutive 100-dime winner. It's in the college bowl game today between Florida and East Carolina. Shawn Michaels, the winningest football handicapper, VegasSportsAdvisors.com over the past 5 years, making $10 bettors over $30,000 in football, college and pro combined. Coming off 100-dime winners on the Steelers last Sunday in Seattle over Arizona the previous Sunday. 100-dimer on the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game tonight. And Anthony Redd, who has hit each of the last 4 Sundays with 100-dime NFL releases, has number 5 in a row going on Carolina and Arizona today. You can get all those top-rated selections plus the plays of every single handicapper at VegasSportsAdvisors.com for free simply by using the 1-day free all-access pass. No strings attached. Free means free. You get all of our plays, all of our analysis, over $1,000 of action for free simply by using the 1-day free all-access pass. And the reason I do it is I think I put together the best group of handicappers who can make you money on a consistent basis long term. Nobody wins every day. Anybody that claims to, they're frauds, they're liars, they're charlatans, they're con men, okay? But if you can win and turn a profit over the long haul, that's the key to what we do, this thing called gambling that we all love. So I don't want anything. You check out all the handicappers. You see how they do for you. And if you like, hey, you can come back to the site and buy later. If you don't, say la vie. You got everything for free, over $1,000 of action over at VegasSportsAdvisors.com. Your college complimentary play today, I'm going to go with Dayton, minus the 13 at home against Duquesne. Listen, this Duquesne team just came off a 2-2 homestand in which they lost by double digits to St. Francis of Pennsylvania and Maryland Eastern Shore, then by 9. How do you lose to those 2 teams at home? When they went on a 3-game road stand in a week and a half in early December, they lost they lost all 3 games actually, but 2 of them they lost by double digits, 14 at Pittsburgh and 16 at Robert Morris. Dayton, I think, will be primed for this contest because the Flyers nearly blew a double-digit lead in a 78-74 home win over Mississippi on Tuesday night. So I think their coach, Archie Miller, will have them primed to come out and put their collective feet on the throats of Duquesne today. Plus, this Duquesne team, they are pathetic at the free throw line, hitting 58% of their free throws this season. In Division 1A ball, that ranks them like 340th in the country among like 353 teams. That's how bad they are. And if you can't hit your free throws, your chances of covering any spread, let alone a double-digit one on the road against a superior team, slim, none. So I'll go with Dayton minus the double digits in that one. Best of luck to you guys. And remember, each and every day you can catch my video report, that of Brandon Langs as well, and Trace Adams too, over at VegasSportsAdvisors.com. No purchase necessary, no registration required. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Sunday when we do this one more time.